Hey guys, what up? It's your boy Con TDK, Mr. So Real, and these suckers don't even know I'm over here. Hold on, let me try and sneak up. Oh, they spotted me. Put them down. So in this week's good or garbage, the stuff that they have for sale, I don't think is horrible. It's not garbage, but it ain't that great. It's kind of, there's some decent stuff that could be amazing, but there's just one or two things that screw it all up. Look at this dude trying to go for the flank. Hold on, homie. What you gonna do? So I can't really say that a lot of it is super garbage, but a lot of it is not that great. But yeah, there are some things for the middle of the road agent and the beginner agent worth picking up. If you are a hardcore veteran, there's definitely nothing for you. Unless you have the underground and you're a rank 40, maybe a couple things you want to look at, but other than that, nothing super amazing. See what I get for free: a shotgun, a crest, and a pistol. Whoopity dee. Alright, let's get in here and see what they've got going on. Let's go. In the special equipment vendor, we of course have the historian at a 141% headshot damage, which is a pass. We have the AUG A3 Para XS. The critical hit damage at 46% isn't that bad. The base damage is a little bit low, I think, at 8800. We have meticulous, determined, and adept. That is poo-poo. I would pass on that. A little bit lower base damage on the MP5 ST, and also the critical hit damage is a bit lower at 38, but we do have destructive, we do have predatory, and self-preserve. Predatory, not one of my favorite perks to have in a first or second slot just because the requirements are so high, but destructive and self-preserved, in my opinion, are good perks to have. Plus, with the upcoming changes coming in the 1.4 patch, you never know. SMGs may make their triumphant return, but until we get our hands on it, that is yet to be seen. For the newer agents, the 182 gear score, we have an LMG with 23% damage to targets out of cover. We have talented, which gives you increased skill power for 13 seconds. Not too bad. I don't mind that. Sustained gives you some more health after getting a kill, and then meticulous for an LMG with, you know, slower magazine reload speeds. It's not too bad. This seems like an all-arounder, but it's nothing amazing. Getting into the things that are for sale, we have a 204 mask, which has some really decent skill power attributes. I really don't mind that. Plus it also has 585 health. It also has rehabilitated, which used to be a great perk to have, but it's not too bad. Status effects are everywhere, so it may help you out if you catch on fire or whatever. Plus it also has pulse critical hit chance up by 2.5%. This isn't horrible, but it ain't that bad. When we talk about the newer agents getting a mask, the skill power on this is pretty nice. It also has rehabilitated. Unfortunately, it has scavenging and it has the electronics as its base. You may want to re-roll that, but for a 182, it's kind of not really worth re-rolling, so I would say maybe a pass even for the newer agents. Skipping past this vest, getting down to the good stuff that I think is worth looking at if you're a newer agent. Maybe Predator's Mark backpack. Look at that skill power, 4,659 for a 191. Unfortunately, again, we have electronics. I don't really recommend that, and some of the other attributes aren't that great, but burn resistance could be good if you find yourself dying to cleaners, and first aid heals to allies, not bad to have. The Hunter's Faith knee pads, we have critical hit damage up by 19%. You have the kind of status effect, I guess what these minor attributes like disorient, disrupt, blind, and affect, and then you have the pulse duration. This isn't horrible, especially if you're working as a sniper. You may want to have that pulse duration and that critical hit damage up, especially if you are running Hunter's Faith and the Deadeye set, not too shabby. These Gunslinger's gloves, I don't really like cunning, but I really do like the major attributes on the LMG, the critical hit chance, and the critical hit damage on some 204s. Now remember, if you haven't seen the state of the game, the 204s and 229s are going to have a kind of comeback when it comes to the high end, so don't sleep on those. You may want to keep a good eye out to see if something good comes along, and this is the place to do it. So let's move on down to the special equipment vendor downstairs and see what he's got. Alright, now downstairs in the special equipment vendor, we have the Historia again with that pathetic 144 headshot damage. Can't really recommend that. We have the converted SMG, which is something that I haven't really seen too much from these vendors. And it has deadly, unforgiving, and swift, which it's not horrible, but if you're a middle of the road agent, 38% critical hit damage could be better, but if you are having bad luck and not finding good weapons, this isn't a bad one to take a look at. We have the LMG, which is the tactical M249. I don't really like these perks. Destructive is the best one that they've got going. Headshot damage or headshot kills with this weapon, increased signature skill, isn't bad, but is it something that you want to spend 627 Phoenix credits for? That is up to you. I don't think so in my case. Now for this SOCOM M1A, before you get excited from that 170 headshot damage, which is beast, this is basically a really glorified what is this thing called? The Historian. So the Historian has intense and it has harmful and prepared. This thing has harmful and intense. So the only thing we're really missing is prepared. And talented is not bad. It's not a bad perk to have on the sniper rifle. But do you want a Historian? Not even 2.0. This is like a downgrade almost. But anyway, I mean, the SOCOM M1A is a good weapon, but they're all in the same family, and that's basically what it is. If you're a newer agent, having 170% headshot damage is pretty good. This guy is all up in my screen. The troubles that I have every week doing these videos. Yeah, 170% headshot damage is pretty good. If you're not rocking Deadeye, this might be pretty good, but that's up to you to decide. If you are a new agent, you like sniping, and you like using your sniper as some way of keeping the enemy back, this isn't too bad, but it's not going to be the thing that will be bodying and dropping enemies like nobody's business. So you may want to think about that. The mask that is going on for this week, for the newer agents, you have Tenacious, increased damage by 9.5% after using a med kit. Not too bad. Damage to elites. And Seeker Mind with Disorient, kind of a meh. I would say you probably want something like this. This Hunter Faith mask has 4% critical hit chance, and it has firearms. If firearms are what you need, which a lot of people like, maybe something worth thinking about. The Predator's Mark vest. What is with all these people and these giant heads? This Predator's Mark vest is at 524. It comes with armor, which is good, and it also comes with ammo capacity and protection from elites. If you are a newer agent, this is probably pretty good, so you may want to think about checking that out. The holster, I would pass on. Armor is nice, but nimble, can't really recommend that one. Astute, pistol damage on these gloves, nope, gotta get out of pass. Again, pistol damage on this. Assault rifle damage, not a big fan, but I do like that pulse damage and damage to elites. If there was a way to, you might want to re-roll that pistol damage. It's not too bad, but cunning is not the best talent to have, so I'd give that a pass as well. Now, last week when I did these, I kind of went through the special blueprints vendor, and some people asked me about some of the special blueprints. So let's look for these level 32 blueprints. Now, generally they have the 214 blueprints that you can pick up if you need to round out your set. 214 is not the worst, but it's not really the best. but it is something you may want to look at if you are a newer agent. Now here we have the flash hider blueprint for the muzzle. If you need something for accuracy, this may be what you need. This is a level 32. And let's see, what other mods do we have? We have the CQB-SS scope for headshot damage. This is a 31. Where is the 32? Don't really see it. I see the flash hider, and I don't see anything else. So yeah, so if you're looking for any kind of blueprints around here, the flash hider is here. And I guess this performance gear mod blueprint, if you're looking for that, then that is also here. And those are level 32s, and you can buy those with Phoenix credits at 297 and 460 Phoenix credits respectively. So let's go down into the underground and see what they got going on down there. All right, now down in the underground, as all of you should know by now, I do not recommend any of these weapons just because getting to rank 40 and rank 20 is just excruciatingly boring. And yeah, but with that being said, this enhanced PP19 with a 229 gear score and 42% critical hit damage and a base damage of 10.1 on this character is not horrible. The perks on it you have are skilled. Headshot kills give you more signature skill by 12%, so you can use that super even more. Sustained to give you that health, and hurried can always be changed out. So it's not bad, but yeah, it's rank 40. So the G36 enhanced 19% armor damage to the enemies can't really not really kind of is how I feel about that. Using a skill increases critical hit chance by 8.5% for 5 seconds. Whoa, dude, slow down. And then we got self-preserved and focus, kind of a Then we have another G36C, which has 21% enemy armor damage for the newer agent. Getting to rank 10 is not horribly bad, and if you're still using 182s and you got to a rank 10, this may not be too bad for you. Unfortunately, it does have dominant while your signature skill is active. I'm not a big fan of that perk. You really may want to re-roll that one. Vicious is good. Focused, it's not bad. Enhanced PP19, this is really getting down there at 163. This also has vicious and restored. Restored is kind of meh. Getting down to the rank 40 268 blueprints. Now remember, 268 is going to go the way of the dinosaur with the new update. So I'm not really sure how this plays out, and I'm not really sure if I could recommend this because it'll probably turn into a 229, which is, if I understand the way that the new scaling and systems are going to work, this will turn into a 229. And will all of the blueprints become 229s, or will they just sit at 204? I have no idea. That is all mystery until we get our hands on the 104 1.4 update. So if you're at rank 40 and you got the funds, go for it, because you can easily get 700 Phoenix credits before October. And even if they change it, you'll still have it, and you won't have to waste any more credits on that. And that's if you're at rank 40. If you, now, I wouldn't recommend grinding to rank 40 just to get it, but you know, if you're at rank 40, why not? All right, so let's go into the DZ and see what they have this week. Hopefully they got some goodies and not that garbage. In DZ2, we have, for the newer agents, the strike mask with rehabilitated 4% crit hit chance and scavenging, which is garbage. Moving past this purple, oh wait a minute, hold on. Now for the newer agents, the really new agents, if you're at rank 15 and you're still rocking purples, I'm so proud of you. But still, there's a 10% increased kill XP for this purple mask. If you want to fork over those funds for it, then by all means go ahead, so you can get that XP to rank up even faster. Might be something worth thinking about. The other mask doesn't have XP, it has scavenging, which I don't recommend, but yeah, it is what it is. This rank 40 182 holster has skill haste and it has first aid to allies. At 182, rank 40, can't really see it. There's a huge disconnect between the DZ ranks and the score ranks, or the gear score ranks for these items. Being rank 40, being rank 90, being rank 90, being a rank 90 and getting a 204 doesn't really make much sense to me, especially when you have sturdy and protection from elites. Post critical hit damage ain't bad, but still, pistol damage, come on bruh, nah. Looking at the 22990, skill haste is good. Seeker mind, if you like using the rolly ball, ain't bad, but come on, 229 for a 90, like getting a rank 90 is not an easy challenge to do. But anyway, let's keep that moving. That's all garbage. For the blueprints, you have the rank 50. Getting to rank 50, you get the 204 electronic knee pads, firearm backpack, electronic holster, firearm mask. These are the blueprints that you may want to pick up if you are a middle of the road agent. The higher end rank agents, I don't know about you guys looking at this, but just remember, again, everything is going to be leveled out to 229 max. So 204s won't be as bad as they are now in the coming future. So just keep that in mind. If you want to pick this stuff up, you may want to get on that. Alright, so let's move on to DZ3, see what weapons they got this week. In DZ3, we have a list of LMGs. Unfortunately, all of them are garbage. This is all poo-poo. We have this one with ferocious, prepared, and blah blah blah. This one has adept, dominant, and swift. It's not horrible, but it's a 163, and you got to be ranked 25. So nah. Moving on to this black market RPK, you got to be rank 80. All you get is stable, dominant, self-preserve. Yeah. Tactical AUG. This AUG has dominant, predatory, and brutal. Again, predatory, not my favorite perk to have in a first or secondary slot. If it was in third and brutal was somewhere in between, maybe, but yeah. We have the elusive 229 rank 90 pistol, as if you needed that with predatory. They just, oh man, it's just like they're patting you on the head going, just wait for 1.4. Now here we have the Valkyria blueprint, and we have another pistol, 2 weeks in a row. Pistols again, pistols rule the world. And we have the SOCOM MK20 SSR blueprint. Now I have complained about this for the longest time. The M1A is OP. I don't care what anybody says. The M1A is just so versatile, does so much damage, so stable, and it just works so well that there's no real reason to pick up this MK20. Now, I mean, I know the MK20 isn't horrible. It can do damage, but the thing is, it does half the damage of pretty much an M1A in some respects. So do you want to pick this up? That's up to you. If you're a collector, yeah, sure, go ahead, pick it up. But if you're looking at it as to make it your new primary sniper alternative, then I'd probably say go with a bolt action. You'll do more damage and it'll probably be better for you. Other than that, the rest of this stuff is 163s. So let's move on to DZ4 and see what kind of mods they have going on over there. In DZ4, we have the prototype firearms mod. It has 133 firearms and exotic damage resilience. For rank 40, I really can't see that. You'll do better off trying to get one of the rank 32 blueprints and rolling it, in my opinion. Exotic damage, I can't really go for that. Advanced firearms mod for the newer agent with signature ability resource gain. Can't really say that that's something you want to spend 8,590 DZ credits on, but it is of course your opinion. Newer agents, the advanced firearms mod 102 plus scavenging, definite no, stay away from that. Firearms gear mod, if you need firearms worth getting, I would say pick it up. Plus it is a rank power level 32, and the performance gear mod, not a huge fan of those, but it is a level 32. I would say pass on that, but definitely if you need some kind of gear mod and the firearms is not in your collection already, you should pick that up. Now let's move on to DZ5 and see what they got going on over there. Okay, in DZ5 we have the suppressor, initial bullet stability suppressor, kind of a meh. The loud vent, which gives more stability. This might not be too bad for your ARs, just to get the stability in line. If you are a newer agent and you can hit rank 25, then this may not be too bad. Middle of the road agent might not be too bad either. High velocity magazine, kind of a meh. You do better off trying to wait for one of the golden blueprints. The hand stop, which gives you more accuracy, is what it says, is available. This is a power level 32. The vertical grip, which is also a power level 32, is available. This one gives initial bullet stability. The other one gives accuracy. Depending on your needs, you may want to check either or out. Not a big fan of either, to be honest with you. That is my personal preference, but I think I bought them, so you know, do what you want. These are the two that are available. You may even want to look down at some of the other level 30. Nah, no you don't. No you don't. Just stick with these two. If they float your boat, then go for them. If not, then keep it moving. Let's move on to DZ6, see what stuff they got, and finish this out. DZ6, the Alpha Bridge mask for the newer agent, has a nice little chunk of skill power. Unfortunately, it has electronics as its primary. Can't really say I would go for that unless you want to re-roll it. The Alpha Bridge chest piece has a nice piece of armor. Also has kill XP for the newer agent. You may want to invest in this, plus it has damage to elites. Not a bad stat roll on the health as well. Knee pads of the Nomad, good stat on the health, good critical hit damage, and 17% for a 191 ain't that bad, but the rest of this stuff is kind of meh, and it is the Nomad. Final measure knee pads, scavenging I don't really like. Increased kill XP is good for the newer agent. Critical hit damage good for agents. Enemy armor damage is also good. This isn't really that bad for newer agents. Unfortunately, scavenging kind of screws it all up. Final measure holster, good piece of armor. That's it's not bad. It's not bad. The gloves of the Nomad, again. This has damage to elites, critical hit damage, health on kill, which isn't bad. Plus the firearms roll isn't that bad, but the problem is it's Nomad and nobody wants to use it. Now for the rank 50 blueprints that we have here, you can check all of these out. You know, just Nomad, Final Measure, Alpha Bridge, and that is about it for the rank 50s. If you see anything you like, go ahead and check those out. That is pretty much it. Nothing super amazing. There's some stuff that's decent, but is it really worth what you're looking for? That's kind of your call, especially with 1.4 coming. There's a lot of this stuff I can't really like say you need to run out and grab it now, but if it's something that will help out your set or help out your build, you may want to consider it. That is it for this week's good or garbage and the blueprints for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I was thorough enough to go through a lot of this stuff and give you guys my opinion. I know that last week I skipped over the special blueprints vendor, and some people really needed to see that stuff, so I apologize for that. I am going to be working on the state of the game update. Personally, I was very bored, and it was probably the most painful state of the game to watch. There was some good information towards the end, but I have a lot of editing to do for that video because I'm definitely not going to sit through that hour of muck. But anyway, enough of that. This is this video. So when the next video comes out, I hope you guys support it. Show some like. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I am Khan TDK, Mr. So Real. I'm gone.